Welcome to the Crack House Chronicles, your favorite true crime podcast. I am Donnie, and with me is a man who knows he can't take it with him when he goes. That's why he's drinking it now as fast as he can. It's Dale.
That's right. Turn it up, slam it.
Turn it up and slam it.
You can't just leave it there, right?
No, you can't leave it there. I mean, it looks sad when you leave a beer bottle half full or a glass half full.
Oh, it's just, it's alcohol abuse.
Yeah, it really is. It's terrible. Alcohol abuse.
It's sad day.
That could be a thing.
It's just looking at you.
Dale's starting his own campaign for alcohol abuse.
There you go.
But in a different way.
Yeah. No glasses left full.
What's going on today, dude?
You know it. Same old, same old.
Same old, same old. Back in the Crack House doing an episode.
Man, I'm ready.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, man.
Got a good episode today. You got any good shout-outs? Anybody you want to mention before we get going, dude?
Well, look at there. We might have something for you.
Oh, man.
We got a little Apple Podcast 5-star
Five-star.
review, and this comes from MK Shook, I guess. MKSHUKK. MK Shook. We'll go with that. It says, I love what y'all, that's a y'all, so, well, I love what y'all are doing, 5 stars. I love what y'all are doing. I found your podcast looking into the Aisha degree case. I love that you are local and really describe our little county. I've listened to other podcasts related to this case, but it always sounds strange because they just don't understand our town.
Man, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, we have a big interest in that, and she's our girl, man.
Yeah.
We're working on it hard, and we appreciate you digging in to find us and then sticking around.
And we are going to do some more episodes on Aisha degree.
Oh,
it's
definitely.
Just putting things together, trying to come up with exactly how we want to do it and what we want to do it about.
Right.
Until
some
some more
info comes out.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of like if you go, and I'm sure you've seen the YouTube video we went, because when we started, getting into a lot of stuff, we would listen to other people's stuff, and the account of how everything looks around here was not factual. Ooh, look at that, actual factual.
That's a good.
Can I do that?
Man, you're making up all kind of new stuff today.
Anyway, so we made the YouTube video to kind of give the layout of the land, if you will. So go check that out if you hadn't. But anyhow,
yeah. If anybody wants to be like MK Shook and go to Apple Podcast and leave a 5-star rating review, you can.
And we surely appreciate it.
Oh, yes, we do. We really appreciate it. And you can go to the store page, get you something cool to wear. You can get you a hoodie, T-shirt, get you a cap. I got some caps over there on the store page.
It is getting colder. It's getting Donnie weather.
Yeah, it's getting my kind of weather, so get you something warm to wear.
As I get sad, Donnie gets happier.
Yeah.
He likes the old coldness.
Yeah. I guess that's why we get along so good. I'm one way and you're the other way.
Yeah, I reckon.
So,
I reckon.
Yeah, we just compliment everything going around.
Or not.
Yep. All right, buddy. After this short break, we get back. We'll get into this episode, man.
All right, let's do it.
All right, Dale, we are back, and we got a Halloween case.
Is it Halloween?
Yeah, well, it's a little early for Halloween doing a case, but we're actually going to do 2 Halloween cases this year.
Yeah, we like to pick it up a little bit around this time.
Yeah.
Find something kind of related.
But, our next week episode is going to be another Halloween, but we wanted to get...
Yeah, stick around for that one, too.
Yeah, it's going to be a rough one. But we're talking about a missing girl that went missing on Halloween.
Missing girl that went missing?
Yeah. And she went missing...
Was she missing before she was missing, or just missing after she was missing?
Well, she went missing, and then she was missing.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Missing Missus. It sounds like a Perry Mason episode. The Case of the Missing Missus.
Man, that'd be good.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a lady, or a young lady by the name of Cindy Song.
Right.
And just a little bit of background on Cindy Song. She was born Hyun Jong Song, and she was born in South Korea on February the 25th, 1980. And Dale, there she spent most of her life until she was about 15 years old.
Right.
And she really loved the American lifestyle.
The culture, if you will.
Yeah, the culture, yeah. And she had some relatives over here in the U.S. that were living in Alexandria, Virginia. I think it was an aunt and uncle.
I think so.
Yeah. So she left South Korea at the age of 15 and moved to the U.S.
Right.
Yeah.
Very smart girl.
Very smart girl. And she was over here on a student visa. Yeah. So she moved in with her aunt and uncle, and she was attending the Hayfield Secondary School. And there she went for about a year and a half. And then she transferred to the Randolph-Macon Academy. This is in Front Royal, Virginia, where she graduated in 1998.
Okay.
Yeah, like you said, she was a very, very smart girl.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just to describe Cindy a little bit, well, her name's Cindy. That was the American name they gave her when she came over here.
So how does that work? Do you know?
I do not know exactly how that works.
I mean, do they just like? I mean, I'm sure whatever her well, I don't want to say it like that. I'm sure her given name doesn't translate to that. So they just pick one, or how does? I'd like to know that. It's interesting
I would like
to
to know. If anybody knows how that works, let us know.
Yeah, because there's several people in this case that applies to, and I'd just like to know how that. Do you just pick a name and we'll go with it? I mean, it's kind of cool to me. I just like to know how it works. I'm sure it makes life a lot more simpler for you and everybody else trying to for spellings and that kind of stuff. But anyway, I just like to know how it works.
Yeah. But just to describe Cindy, man, she was in all kinds of stuff. She loved everything.
Mm-hmm.
You could talk to her about anything into art or magazines, and she loved movies. She loved Lenny Kravitz, and she was just an all-around girl doing all kinds of stuff.
She just liked fun. She just wanted to be cute and have fun.
Yeah.
That was her thing.
She played tennis, and she ran track for school.
You know, and this kind of tells you, get a little foreshadowing here. This girl's brilliant. She's working 2 jobs. She's going to school. She's paying this. She's living on her own. She's doing all this stuff. As history shows us, this is not a very good start for a story.
I know.
Because, you know, it just seems like it happens too many times.
I know. After she graduated high school, she got accepted to Penn State University,
right
there in Pennsylvania. And there she was on an integrative arts major program. Now, I looked this up, and from what I gather, this is a custom-made degree. I mean, she was so brilliant, they incorporated a lot of different things into it for what she was wanting to do.
Right, yeah. Like everybody said, she had a very full schedule, too, so she wasn't like she was working the 2 jobs and then going to a class or 2. She was loaded up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's
just brilliant, man.
She was wanting to be a graphic designer or some kind of fashion designer.
She could have been whatever she wanted to do.
Yeah.
She's just brilliant, and she was hard-working and dedicated.
Yep.
Yep.
And she was described as not liking anybody that was fake or a liar or a cheap ass. That was...
That's a quote, yeah.
Yeah, that was a quote, yeah.
Cheap ass.
So she had it going for her, and she knew what she wanted to do.
Right.
Yeah. And she had a blog back then. I guess this was in the early ages of the internet. You know, and she would write poems and just do all kinds of stuff, man.
Way ahead of her time.
Yes, very much. So when she got to Penn State University in 1998, she quickly joined a Korean Undergraduate Student Association. And she also volunteered for the American Red Cross and was involved in an advertising club.
Busy.
Yeah, very busy. And she also had a boyfriend that she had met, and they hit it off pretty good, fell in love, and they even moved in together.
Mm-hmm. Sure did.
Started living together. They had their own off-campus apartment.
She just thought this was her man, her person.
Yes. But, you know, like many students there, you know, Cindy did have her own place and worked a job and was dating this guy named Richard Che.
Yes.
So we're moving up to October the 31st of 2001.
Okay.
And this is Halloween.
Halloween.
And also... remember, too, this was just a little over a month after 9/11.
Yeah, so it's crazy. And if, you know, a lot of folks wouldn't have, a lot of, especially younger folks, have heard 9/11 and just had it talked about. But if you was, you know, older and knew what was going on, that was a pretty, I was going to say a weird time. It was very, which I guess you could say a weird time. It's just...
things were changing.
Yeah.
Things you could do, things you could...
and the way you got looked at, or people were looked upon, it was just different.
And I bet Cindy being Korean, I bet she got looked at.
Yeah, just because it was just a foreign, I don't know.
Yeah.
Foreign students probably had a harder time than other two.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm sure, you know, anywhere you went, things changed as far as what you could take in places and what you could carry. And
well, people were scared.
They were.
I mean, to put it bluntly, that's pretty much what it was. I don't think it's really hating on anybody as far as who you were and what you were doing. It was just people were scared of everything because it was such a dramatic time.
Yeah.
You know, right after all that happened. And this is just a month later.
Yeah, and the investigation was still going on, I assume.
Oh, yeah.
And they probably didn't know the full scope of everything that happened.
Still cleaning up, trying to, you know, going through debris and stuff.
Yeah. So on this October the 31st of 2001, this is Halloween, like we said.
On a Wednesday night.
Yes. They have a club there in State College in Pennsylvania. This is a town in Pennsylvania right there near Penn State University.
Yeah.
And they were going to the Players Nightclub.
Yeah, from what I hear, around Penn State and probably most colleges, that Halloween's a tremendous time for everybody.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
And Cindy was going to dress up and go out with her buddies.
Yeah.
And she picked out a costume. It was, I I've read and heard in a lot of places that it was a Playboy bunny outfit.
But I don't think it was.
No.
No, I've seen pictures. It's definitely not
It was a
bunny outfit.
Yeah, it was a white skirt, like a tennis skirt,
Yeah,
that had a white tail on the back of it.
right. Just a little fluffy tail.
And she had a shirt with a bunny on the front of it.
It was a pink, they say tank top, but it looks more like a muscle shirt type.
Yeah.
It wasn't really tank top with the tiny straps. It was like, almost a full out to the shoulder.
Yeah.
So it was not very revealing or anything like
It
that.
wasn't risque or anything like that.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
And then she had like some bunny ears that was on like a head clip,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that was her costume.
Right. It was just cute, like you said.
Yeah. And they went to this Players Nightclub, and this was a club that most of the college students went to.
Yeah, dancing and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Listening to music and hanging out and having some drinks.
I think it's called the basement night spot now. Or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. But at the time, it was Players Nightclub. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And there they were hanging out, doing their stuff, and just having a good time, man, on Halloween.
Yep.
And it was pretty typical. And after they got done there,
Well, everything shuts down at 2:00.
yeah, so they left.
For the drinking establishments now.
Yeah.
Anyway, all that. Yeah.
That's
Shut down
right.
at 2:00.
So they left, and they had a pact that night where all three of them were going to stick together.
Always.
Yeah,
Which is smart.
very smart.
Yeah. One goes, we all go.
That's right. So after they left the Players Nightclub, they left and went back to a friend's place.
Yeah. Everything closed, but they weren't ready to be done yet.
Mm-mm.
So they were still going to go back and hang out.
So they went back and hung out and played some video games for a little while.
Right.
And this was getting close to about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when Stacy Pack, she dropped her off at her apartment, what is now the All-Light State College Apartments.
Yeah.
And it's on Blue Course Drive there in State College, Pennsylvania.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. And when she dropped her off, Cindy got out of the car and she walked up to the apartment building.
Yeah, up toward the complex.
Yes, she did. And Stacy Pack was the last one to see Cindy Song alive.
Yeah.
Or anywhere.
Yeah,
As she walked up to the apartment complex.
correct, yeah. Because apparently going to her apartment, which I think was 363,
Yeah.
they said that, she was going in, she told her bye or whatever, but from where she was parked, I think the doors were internal, so she couldn't actually see her go into the apartment. So just walk up to the complex, see you later, bye, and roll out probably.
Yeah, probably did. So the next day, Cindy's roommate, her name was Catherine.
Right.
She got home and didn't really think too much about it because Cindy was known to be gone and do stuff because she was, like I said, very busy.
Right. When this other girl had been at home, she had went home for a couple of days. She didn't come back into town until this day.
Mm-hmm.
So she wasn't with them when they went out or anything. So
That's
she
right.
just came back and then, so she didn't see her that day, which is probably no big deal, especially as busy as they are if you don't run across each other a day or so.
Yeah.
And you got to remember this is early days of cell phone stuff, so not everybody had one or you wouldn't own it 24/7.
Yeah, because the only thing cell phones did back then was either call or
Call.
maybe text. They probably had texting
Make some
too.
T9 or something.
Yeah,
Make a text or play a very simple game or something.
that was about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but you didn't carry a computer around in your pocket all the time.
No.
So Cindy missed a few shifts at her job. She was working at the Soul Garden Korean restaurant.
Correct.
Yeah. And this is actually there's another restaurant now called the Coop Korean Chicken and Cuisine now.
Right.
And yeah, she missed a couple shifts, and that's when the roommate had reported her missing. Catherine reported her missing.
Yeah, 'cause something's up. If she's gone, I hadn't seen her, no big deal. But now she's missing work, and I ain't seen her in another day. So it's getting very odd.
Yeah, very odd. They reported her missing, and the report didn't reach the detective's desk until actually Monday morning.
Right.
The following Monday
'cause
morning.
when they called it in, it just went straight to patrol officers.
Yeah.
So they took the report, and then the detective wouldn't have gotten it till Monday morning. So that's 2 or 3 days already behind as far as last time seen till start the search.
Yeah, but the detective's name, his name was Brian Sprinkle.
Correct.
And he was the case lead investigator on this. And he got on it pretty good when he finally got aware of it. But Cindy's apartment was in Ferguson's township's jurisdiction, and the case fell to the township instead of State College Borough. So I guess there's a little bit of conflict there of who was being able to take over this case and who was going to be able to do this case.
Right.
But together with other officers at Ferguson, Brian Sprinkle began, with the basics. He went out to the apartment, looked around, and didn't see any kind of forced entry, no sign of a struggle,
Nothing.
nothing. There was nothing missing,
that they could see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They looked around and they saw Cindy's bag.
Well, if you think about it, when Catherine came home, if it would have been forced entry or something like that, she would have called right away. You know what I mean? So
That's
apparently when she came home, everything looked normal.
The door was locked from the outside.
Correct. So everything was just as is.
Yeah.
You would think.
Yeah.
So, so you would think, I don't know, I don't know, what is it, 3, 4, 5 days before they get to look and actually go back to the house, just look around. So, I mean, they're just going to be looking for what they can look, and nothing looked out of the ordinary.
No, because there in the apartment, there was some eyelashes in the bathroom that supposedly Cindy was wearing that night she went out, like fake eyelashes.
Right, it's part of her costume.
Yes.
It's been reported.
And Cindy's bag was laying there, and her cell phone was in her bag.
Shut off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Phone was turned off.
Yeah.
And they got to looking around too, and they noticed that Cindy, she had already registered for classes for next semester.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she had ordered a new computer.
It was supposed to be delivered any day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hadn't got there yet.
And she had also had some concert tickets too.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I'd love to have them.
They were Britney Spears tickets.
Yeah, 2001.
Yeah.
And we looked it up. It would have been the second show on the new tour coming out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure Cindy was excited to go
It was
to
like,
this.
November 2nd, I think,
Yeah.
was the date on it. So it had been right after this, just a couple of days from when this happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so she had a lot of things to look forward to, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she was gone.
Right.
But this Brian Sprinkle, the detective, he did much of the investigative work at the time, and he retired in 2011 from the police force.
Mm.
And he left the case open to another detective. His name was Jonathan Mayer. Now, they got looking into a little bit of Cindy's background, Dale,
Mm-hmm.
and they did find out that she had a boyfriend that she'd been living with, but they had broken up.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was not a very good breakup, I don't think.
No, I think he had broken up with her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because we said they were living together. That's how Catherine gets in there, because when they split up, she comes in as a roommate.
Yes,
Yes.
that's why she's living with Cindy now.
Yeah, and said Cindy took it bad, but she, she jumped right on it. So she actually went and, had talked to a therapist and actually had gotten some medication to make sure that she was going to be good for her last semester of college.
Yeah.
Just trying to get ahead of the game, I think.
Yep.
But I was just thinking, man, if it took all that, it had to be a real serious relationship, and she must have just got blindsided when he just left.
I can imagine, man.
Because that'd be a, pretty hard pill to swallow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, they'd broken up, and they did investigate him, and they went to ask him some questions. But he had a very strong alibi. I don't think he was even in town.
Right. He was pretty much. I don't think they ever rule out anyone, for sure. But he was pretty much ruled out right away.
I think he had a very, very solid alibi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
But this Brian Sprinkle, the investigator, he was on the case, and like I said, he didn't find any kind of struggle, no kind of forced entry, and it was just like Cindy had just disappeared.
Vanished.
Yeah. But Cindy, she was also known to go out in the middle of the night to a store that was across the highway from her apartment complex.
Yeah, giant.
Yep. And she was known to go over there and get a snack or get her something to drink.
It was big. It wasn't like a convenience store. It was almost like a grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't have a giant around here, but,
No.
but that's what it looked like.
I've heard somebody say it's kind of like a toned down Publix or something, but we don't have them either.
Yeah. But she was known to go over there and get stuff.
Right. It was a 24-hour store, yeah.
Yeah. But they did check the surveillance at that giant store, and there was no sign of Cindy being on any surveillance there at all.
Nor was there any record of her card being used.
Yeah, or
Credit
anything.
cards or anything, yeah.
Yeah. But she did leave her bag in the room and her cell phone.
Yes.
But her keys and her ID were gone.
Correct.
But as far as they could tell, all the people who were close to Cindy were interviewed, and there was no evidence to show that any of them were involved,
No.
according to the detective. And evidence being, kind of sparse in this, the Ferguson police, the students began to gather together on campus and do what they could to help with the search.
Yeah, putting up flyers everywhere.
Yeah, and they even brought in search dogs to search the area, the woods, the trails, and didn't pick up anything on Cindy.
Yeah, they searched everywhere. Cops even, searching the rivers, lakes, and even doing fly rounds, searching.
Yep. And it was about this time Cindy's mom came in from South Korea.
Yes.
And her brother.
Mm-hmm.
They came in. Also, what's bad too is they didn't speak hardly any English.
Mm-mm.
So the translation part was terrible.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, and her trying to find her daughter, trying to find what happened. I can't even imagine the frustration they had.
Heck no.
Mm-mm. But they were putting up posters everywhere.
Yep.
As the missing persons posters began to appear, there's a man, Asada Richards, called David Davis to discuss Cindy's disappearance. And this phone call was the beginning of what would ultimately become the coalition to find Cindy Song. And Richards was a graduate at the time, now serves as an instructor for the University of Houston's Art Leadership Program, and Davis, then an undergraduate student, is now consulting and organizing Leader, Accenture, and International IT and consulting firm.
Yeah.
But the two were prominent in Penn State Black Caucus and graduated in 2004 years later. And the coalition during its existence had two general goals according to Richards. The first was to offer guidance to Asian student groups. They supported each other in looking for Cindy Song.
Right.
And the other was to keep continued pressure on the university to support the Song family and to utilize its resources and influence in the search.
Yeah, basically, I think the Black Caucus got involved, and this was just, I think it was basically when her mother and brother came over here and they were talking. I don't think they understood how the law enforcement works over here as far as what they got to have and what they got to do.
As far as searching and stuff, and
Yeah,
having
because if you really look at it from their point of view, there's no crime. I mean, she's missing.
Yeah, she's legal,
but
though.
She's a legal adult, and she could just went wherever.
Right.
And I don't think, so they can't get a search warrant for wherever or anywhere. I mean, where would they look anyway? And they started, really getting upset, and they're like, look, this girl, it was a little 13-year-old girl went missing on New Year's Day, and you guys put like 50 FBI agents on her case, and you found her within 3 days. Well, that's a big difference, and I understand the frustration that they think they're not looking, but they're doing all they can here. If you look at the other case that they were referring to, this was a little girl who had been basically, a guy was contacting her on a computer online at night and acting as a girl named Christine. And the girl who we're talking about is Alicia Kozakiewicz.
Something like that.
I don't
Kozakiewicz.
I don't want to butcher her name, but Anyway, this was a 13-year-old girl who went missing, and but she had been lured on the internet, and somebody saying they were another woman. And when she met up with these people, it was a guy who actually took her to another guy, a 38-year-old man, who took her and kidnapped her in Virginia, and basically had her in a dozen where she was shackled and raped and tortured for days. So it's a big difference in these two cases because they have all this evidence on this computer to follow, and this is a big crime here, whereas Cindy's case is she's missing. And I'm not saying that she's not important. I'm not saying she's not somebody's daughter or somebody's sister or whatever. It is a big deal, but I don't see how you compare the two and really chastise the police department for not doing as much as they can.
Cindy was a 21-year-old woman of legal age and was missing.
Yeah, missing.
Nothing.
No crime scene.
No crime scene at all.
So no crime that they could tell. I mean, sure, it's out of the ordinary, and it's tragic that she's missing. But what do you do? I mean, where can you look? You've already searched the woods, you searched the grounds, you searched this, you've talked to everybody, you talked to the boyfriend, you talked to her friends, you've checked over a giant, you've done all this stuff. All you know is what people's telling you, and some of that even I question, because when they said that she went back to her room and took off her eyelashes and left her bag and this because it wasn't there, well, I was thinking maybe this is not even the eyelashes that she had. Maybe this is a pair that she was trying and didn't like and used some different ones, because, and the only reason I say that is, as far as going any place, usually if you're going somewhere with the lady, if you're going out to a club or something like that, they're usually going to carry as least amount of stuff as possible. Usually like a little wallet or something, maybe with a wrist strap that has ID and some money and maybe their keys. They're not going to carry a big bag or anything like that. So maybe, and at this time, go back to the phone thing, maybe she wasn't carrying her phone everywhere, because we didn't then.
No, you didn't.
You just used them as you do. Like a funny story, my wife's dad, when he first got his cell phone, he would call, because from Wisconsin, he would turn on his phone, he would call her, and then turn it right back off. because he was just afraid of using up stuff, on it. But you couldn't call him back because he cut it right back off. But anyway, it's a little side, so it's kind of funny. But anyway, so I just don't know. Maybe she didn't carry her phone with her that night. And Stacy I've never seen her say for sure if she why would she take her backpack when she went dancing? I mean, maybe she did, maybe she didn't, maybe she did take it. But to me, if you look at it that way, she never made it back to her apartment. Maybe she got out of the car, walked towards her apartment, but never made it in.
Very true.
That would explain why the door's still locked. That would explain why nothing's going on in the house. That would explain why, there's no surveillance over a giant or anything. So maybe she never even made it back into the house.
Something happened to her before she got in the building.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, we overthink these things over and over, trying to figure out what's going on just because that's what we do. But I was just thinking about it because it's a backpack, or the way it was explained anyway. I have not seen photos of it. Backpack, with her phone and the eyelashes, and that's all they had in the house.
That's it.
So maybe she didn't even wear them, or she wore some different ones, something wrong with those or something. They just happened to leave them on the sink when she left to go because she was in a hurry to go.
Yeah. And
she had her keys with her, she had her ID, and she had her money.
Yeah. That's all she needed to go out dancing.
Right.
Yeah. But, Cindy was 21, the legal age. Alicia was 13. And they had stuff that they were investigating on her.
Yeah, they had proof. And then she was taken across state lines.
Yeah, that's when the feds get involved anyway.
Yeah, and so they went and got her. I mean, and I understand their frustration. Don't get me wrong, I get it. I mean, everybody's important, but it's a totally different scenario here.
This is like apples and oranges, man. It's totally different things. Yeah,
I'm not saying one's more important than the other, but when you got a whole boatload of evidence and a computer to go through over here telling you what's going on, and this girl's been trafficked or groomed to be trafficked, and then over here, this girl's just not home.
Yeah,
basically.
She's just gone.
Yeah.
But on December the 5th of 2001, this was 35 days after Cindy was last seen, the Ferguson police, they investigated its first prominent lead on Cindy. It was a tip from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And the lead involved a witness who claimed to see someone matching Cindy's description being forced against their will into a vehicle by a man in the Chinatown area of the city.
Right.
And the woman was supposedly yelling for help, and the man was reported to be of Arabic or Asian background, having an olive complexion.
And told the woman to mind her own business.
He did. And in the end, the tip seemed, essentially useless. But as the search became more dire and months later, the witness was put under controlled hypnosis to determine if there was any further details that could be obtained.
Right.
But it didn't show any results at all.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's 200 and something miles away. I mean, it's possible. It's not tremendously far, but it's 200 miles away. That kind of something going on, like, it's just somebody screaming this and that and in the car. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how spot on you could be about seeing if that's her or not.
Yeah, but the police were able basically to determine that it was not Cindy.
Right.
Yeah. The tip, however, did keep the case in the news and seemed to have re-energized the search for Cindy over the holiday break there in 2001.
Well, that's always good.
Oh, yeah. And by the time the students and police reconvened in the new year of 2002, the location of Cindy was still a mystery, and the students and the Song family became more critical of the police and the university administration.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Cindy's mother, her name was Ban Soon Song. She came to State College from Seoul, Korea, like we talked about,
right,
in November. And she had Cindy's brother. His name was Ki-ho Song. And to act as their spokesperson throughout the search, the family hired Jin Han. This was an attorney from New York who was introduced to them through a mutual friend.
Right.
But throughout the investigation, Han said he held press conferences with the family, attempted to deal with the police and legal procedures, and generally aided with the Song family.
Mm.
And as February began with no active leads or evidence to go on, the Ferguson police began to consider marking the case inactive, Dale.
Mm. I mean, what are you going to do?
There's nothing. They really don't have anything to go on.
Right.
But they would hold several candlelight vigils and prayer sessions for Cindy throughout the campus and over the next few months. But nothing was coming up. And Cindy's mother, she didn't speak very much English, and she had friended a Korean pastor over here that helped her with her her spiritual matters and helped her with her translations and stuff too. So that helped her a little bit. And they even gave Cindy's mother, Bansoon, an apartment there with internet to be able to help look for her daughter.
Right.
Yeah, free of charge.
Yeah.
Which was pretty awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
But throughout the rest of 2002 and most of 2003, the Ferguson police sought out leads, but they were unsuccessful in finding anything substantial on Cindy. And at one point in 2002, Brian Sprinkle, the lead detective, he was even in contact with the Paranormal Research Society and a psychic. Her name was Carla Barron, and she offered a reading of the situation, but it didn't produce anything at all. I guess he's just trying to find anything he can to...
Hey, when you don't have anything to go on, you just get desperate, right?
Yeah.
You'll just take anything you can get and hope it helps.
So by June of 2003, the biggest break in Cindy's case up to that point took place as the state police searched and excavated a property that was owned by a guy by the name of Hugo Selinsky. Now, Selinsky, who owned a large wooded property in Luzerne County, Pennsylvania, he was accused by a former criminal accomplice of having abducted and murdered Cindy by another man. His name was Michael Kurkowski. But upon searching his land, state police found Kurkowski and his girlfriend to be 2 of the 5 bodies they eventually recovered from his property, Dale.
Wow.
And 3 other partial sets of human remains were found in Selinsky's large outdoor burn pit.
Yeah, that sounds like a nice guy.
Yeah, but according to Jonathan Mayer, the lead detective on Cindy's, he said no DNA was recovered from Selinsky's property that matched anything of Cindy.
So they found several bodies, but nothing her.
Yeah. Now, there was a guy, his name was Paul Weekly, and he was serving a life sentence in Indiana federal prison. And he reported that Selinsky and Kurkowski had picked Cindy up, and Kurkowski had his way with her, in quotes, eventually leaving her to die in his home. Said he put her in a safe or a secure room in the house and abused her for several days.
Yeah, I think they had this guy on something else, and this guy was saying that Michael and Hugo had happened to be in State College that night and picked her up. And he said that this guy had bragged about killing over 20 people, and one of them was Cindy.
Yes.
So I think he even might have been on trial at this time, and he was trying to avoid the death penalty, and that's why he's serving this life sentence.
Getting some kind of deal.
So yeah, he tried to help, whatever, but ended up, they never found anything about Cindy, but they just found a bunch of bodies on this guy's property. So
which is crazy.
Something going on here, yeah, for sure.
And in our research, we can actually do a whole episode on this Selinsky guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they said, it's even reports claiming to be over even up to a dozen people that they found partial remnants of, but most of them were burned up. So, but anyway, and I don't know if all those have been identified or not. It's hard to say from what I found. But as far as we know, none of this was Cindy.
Nothing.
Yeah. So the only connection with this is one guy saying that somebody said that they abducted her.
Yeah, this Paul Weekly.
Right, and somebody he had said that the 2 were in State College and thought she was a prostitute and kidnapped her, but I don't know about that either.
But it was revealed that this Paul Weekly had researched the case on Cindy,
right,
independently, and had downloaded information.
Oh yeah, they found a bunch on his computer, so he might have just added that in there to help himself get off death row.
Could have been,
because I don't know if it. I mean, he knew something. He knew about the guy that had the bodies in the yard. But I don't know if he had anything to do with Cindy or not. I think he's just trying to save his own skin, but I don't know.
But they found all these bodies on Selinsky's property. Maybe he just ran out of room for bodies and started dumping them somewhere else, and they don't know where any of those are.
Maybe,
because they said he could have had more kills.
Could have. So anyway, that's just kind of a side thing to this. It kind of gets pulled into this case, but there's nothing, real hard evidence.
And there's some people claiming that this Paul Weekly could have done the crime and maybe looked up stuff and then just tried to
put it on Hugo.
Yeah, try to send it somewhere else.
Right, because Michael surely ain't talking because him and his girlfriend are both buried in the yard there, or were. So they said that Michael and Hugo did it. Well, Michael's not talking, that's for sure.
No, he's not. But things became a little bit more interesting because Michael Selinsky, he actually escaped from the Luzerne County Correctional Facility. What he done, he'd made a 60-foot rope out of a knotted up bed sheet, and actually got out for 3 days and then turned himself back in. And the public defender was able to earn his client an acquittal in a separate set of murder charges, but Zielinski was later found guilty of the murder of Kurkowski and his girlfriend while under a different counsel, the ones that was buried in his yard.
Right. Well, two of the ones.
And he served his time in the Fayette County prison there in Pennsylvania.
Wow. It's a pretty wild side story.
It is. And we could probably do a whole case on this Hugo Zielinski, which we might get into.
Yeah.
But, you know, getting back to Cindy's apartment and everything, you know, like we said, they didn't find anything in there of a struggle, nothing gone, no breaking, forced entry or anything, Dale. And sometime later, I don't know if the police actually searched the apartment that good, but Cindy's mom did go in there, and it's reported two different ways.
Yes.
Cindy's mom either went in there and cleaned up the apartment or cleaned out the apartment.
Yeah, I've heard it both ways, and it's two big different outcomes. But they said that was one of the things that them and the police kind of butted heads on. But I don't see why the police would be that butthurt over it. I mean, someone's living there. They've already searched it. But, so it never made sense to me when I would hear that her mother cleaned up the apartment. But when I heard another way, someone else reported that they cleaned out the apartment. That would make sense, and that would be, that would be kind of why, the police be like, wait a minute, because you're taking a lot of stuff out of there.
Boxing everything up and getting it out.
Right. But it would make sense for the family to come in, and if she's gone, or not coming back, I don't know how many days you give that or whatever, but I don't know. It's kind of odd to me, too, I guess.
Yeah. And there was something else, too, that we had talked about. When they were at this nightclub, Players Nightclub, Halloween night, dancing, partying, having a good time, there were a couple of guys that were talking to Cindy. I think they were twin boys.
Yeah. One had his face was painted white for his costume, whatever it was. Yeah. That's the only thing I've heard about it.
But they were twin boys that were interested in Cindy talking to her.
Yeah.
Just having a good time. I don't know if they were flirting or just chatting, but I've never heard anything if they ever found those twin boys and how hard it would be to find twins.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, too. I know it was a nightclub. It wasn't like a private party or anything, but still,
And this club was mostly college students.
Yeah, of course there's 40,000 college students, so,
True.
But how many twin sets are there?
You could narrow it down to twin boys.
Yeah.
Narrow it down pretty good.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Yeah.
At least to find out, what they were talking about. I don't know. To me, it's just this whole case is baffling. There's some to it, but there's nothing to it. And the information we got really don't help at all. And I'm keep batting it around in my head. I just don't think she ever went back in her apartment.
I don't think she did either. But the police have caught a lot of flack for this, but there's just nothing there. She's just a legal woman who's missing.
Yeah, man. I've listened to a lot of stuff on this, doing research, and man, a lot of people really slam the police for what they did. But I'm thinking, why they don't have anything to go on?
I know. And there was a reporting too that. At one point, somebody had called in and said they saw Cindy in the audience of the Price is Right TV game show.
Or Regis and Kathy.
One of the two.
One of the two.
Yeah. And if that was the case, why didn't they show the video to the mom?
Right.
And say, is this Cindy? Could they have done that? Or
I don't know.
I don't know either. And they give the police a lot of, like I said, a hard time about this. And I keep saying it, but they did all they could.
Yeah.
In finding this girl. And this Brian Sprinkle, the lead detective the original lead detective, he done all he could. He felt bad for not being able to solve it before he retired.
Yeah, and I think he was frustrated, and then they were frustrated, and it was just not a very good mix, with what was going on, them understanding why they're not doing more, and he's thinking, what can we do? If you really boil it down, we don't even have a crime, we just have a missing person.
Yeah. But Cindy's mom eventually had to go back to South Korea because her husband was in bad health.
Yeah.
And she had to go back and take care of him. And, Cindy was over here living her best life, learning, about to graduate the next year, and her family is gone. There's nothing here of Cindy anymore.
Right. It's crazy.
It is. But we wanted to cover this case. This is a Halloween-related case of a missing person.
Yeah. And we were talking about she had her own... her blog and all that stuff, and one of the last things she posted was like a, I don't know if you call it a poem or whatever, but it just reads, sad but happy, crying but laughing, ugly but pretty, hungry but full, hurt but fine, weak but strong. I pretend, and this is me. 10/25/01.
Wow. Just about a week before she went missing.
Yeah. Yeah. Cindy Song, 5'1", weighed 115 pounds.
Yeah.
She was last seen wearing that white skirt, that pink tank top, which is more like a muscle shirt to me, brown knee-high boots, and a red hooded jacket.
And she had bunny ears on.
And her bunny ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those two guys that they said kidnapped her and had their way with her, I think they said they turned on each other because one kept the rabbit ears as a trophy.
The one that's buried in the yard was
Yeah.
supposedly had kept the rabbit ears.
As a trophy.
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah. And the Hugo Selinsky got mad about that, and that's why he killed him.
Right. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Well, who knows?
But they haven't been able to find anything about it.
It is a very frustrating case, and I hope it ain't been talked into me circles.
Yeah. Because a lot of people or a lot of podcasts tend to do these kind of cases around these holidays and different things, but we wanted to cover it to get more awareness to Cindy's case and get it out there. We'll post some pictures of Cindy and her in her costume and the nightclub in the area and where she went missing from in her apartment and all that
any
stuff.
of her friends, we can find those or whatever.
All right, bud, we're going to get out of here, man.
Okay, let's roll.
We want everyone to be safe. Please be careful and always be aware of your surroundings.
Because the next episode could be about you.
This is the Crack House Chronicles.